Streetlight flickers, dying breath. Another night, another slow death. Whiskey sour on a sticky bar, wondering where you are so far. Empty glass, empty stare, just a ghost in the air. Where'd you go? Where'd you run? Underneath this broken sun, yeah. Broken strings on my old guitar, broken dreams near and far. Heartbeat drumming a ragged beat. Can't find solace, can't find sweet. Love's a lie, love's a cheat. Stuck here on this lonely street. Rain on the window, a steady drip. Every memory a bitter sip. Your laughter echoes in my head. Words unsaid, words unsaid. Shadows dancing on the wall. Hearing your name, I start to fall. This town ain't big enough for two. Now when one of them is you, yeah. Broken strings on my old guitar, broken dreams near and far. Heartbeat drumming a ragged beat. Can't find solace, can't find sweet. Love's a lie, love's a cheat. Stuck here on this lonely street. They say time heals all the wounds, but these scars just bloom deeper, darker every day. Gonna waste away, gonna fade away. Is there a reason? Is there a sign? This pain ain't yours, it's only mine. A twisted knot, a tangled thread. Wish I was numb, wish I was dead. Walking down these empty lanes, feel the chill, feel the pain. Every corner, every turn, another lesson I gotta learn. About goodbye, about the end. No one to call, no one to mend. The shattered soul, this weary heart, torn to pieces right from the start. The night leans heavy on my back, like it knows I won't crack. Street lights blinking, tire cold, same old truth, same old road. I don't rush, what time delays. I've learned patience pays its way. Every scar I didn't show still knows. I've seen promises wear thin, break from trying to win. Some fights die when you refuse to move. These dark blues don't change my mind, they just keep me in line. They don't beg, they don't use, they just groove. I don't bend, I don't lose, I keep time in dark blues. Ballroom jukebox jukebox plays it slow. Songs about things I used to know. Your name slips through the tune, gone before it lands too soon. I don't chase what fades away, I let distance have its say. Some men shout, some men bruise. I grew quiet, I grew used. Silence taught me how to lead, without hunger, without need. You don't have to steal the room to move. These dark blues keep my pace, never rush, never waste. They don't heal, they don't accuse, they just stay true. I don't rise, I don't lose, I walk slow in dark blues. Steady lines, like it's reading my spine. I don't flinch, I don't stall, I've outlived the fall. Strength ain't loud or fast, it's knowing what will last. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I learn calm from dark blues. If love's a fire, let it burn. Watch the ash, learn to turn. Some warmth costs too much skin to stay in. I ain't empty, I ain't cold, just season control. My time when the night asks me to choose, I don't refuse, I don't win, I don't lose, I just move in dark blues. Ooh, dark blues. Dawn comes through, no cue, same walk, dark blues. Another night alone with myself. Heart ripped down, still beats so slow. Where'd all that fire go? Whiskey stains on my soul, can't make me whole. Love's a liar, cruel. I don't rush, I don't wait. City breathe through broken signs, like it's thinking the same as mine. I don't chase what makes a sound, I watch it sink, I watch it drown. Every truth I didn't use still hums in dark blues. I've seen fate dressed up as fire, burn the hands that held it higher. Some beliefs don't fall apart, they thin. Oh, these dark blues don't tell me lies, they just keep my eyes wide. They don't beg, they don't use, they just cruise. I don't bend, I don't lose, I keep still in dark blues. Barroom neon flickers low, like it's tired of the show. Your name drifts, then settles down. Not a scream, just a sound. I don't rewind what went cold, I let memory do what it's told. Some men burn, some men bruise, I learned how to refuse. Silence taught me how to hear what's real when nothing's near. You don't need a second chance to understand. These dark blues hold my flame, never soft, never vain. They don't heal, they don't accuse, they just move. I don't rise, I don't lose, I stay calm in dark blues. Midnight feels like honest work, no disguise, no alert. I don't fight what wants to leave, I let go without belief. Strength ain't loud or fast, it's knowing what won't last. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I learn balance from dark blues. If love's a road, I missed the turn, didn't crash, just didn't learn. Some passing without a sign, they fade in time. I ain't empty, I ain't through, just quiet tune. These dark blues don't change my skin, they just live within. same old bar, same old tune. Moon hangs low like it's tired too. I don't rush, I don't pray, I just let the hours decay. Every face I pass by looks like me if I lie. I learn quick not to explain. Some truths don't need a name. If you carry them long enough, they start carrying you. These dark blues keep me steady when the world spins fast. They don't promise me forever, just a way to last. Love tried once, love refused, left me locked in dark blues. Hey. Ashtray full of almost chances, missed calls and second glances. Your voice ain't loud anymore, it's a knock on a closed door. I don't chase what disappeared, I don't toast to wasted years. Some men heal, some men choose to make peace with what they lose. Silence taught me how to see what noise never showed me. You don't need a loaded heart to know what's empty. These dark blues know my weight, every step, every mistake. They don't ask me to confess, they just sit with the mess. No excuse, no excuse, no excuse. I just breathe in dark blues. Midnight train screams down the line like it's running out of time. I watch it pass, don't move a bone. Some roads ain't meant to be known. I keep my hands inside my coat, guard my words, guard my throat. I've said enough, I've paid my dues. Now I speak in dark blues. If love's a lesson I passed too late, read it wrong, learned it straight. Pain don't shout, it stays polite, waits for you in quiet nights. I ain't broken, I ain't clean, just somewhere in between. I don't bend, I don't bruise, I adapt to dark blues. These dark blues don't drag me down, they keep my feet on solid ground. When the lights all fade to black, they're the only City breeze and shades of gray teaches men to look away. I keep my hands deep in my coat, words stay locked inside my throat. Every step I take alone feels like home I've never known. I've learned silence ain't a curse, it's summer when the truth gets worse. Some men talk to feel alive, some survive by staying quiet. These dark blues don't make a sound, they just follow me around. They don't beg, they don't choose, they just stay when others move. I don't break, I don't bruise, I just walk with dark blue. Streetlight hums above my head like it heard the things you said. Every promise wears thin when you replay it again and again. Your shadow's gone, but it remains in empty seats and midnight trains. I don't chase what I can't keep, some losses cut too deep. I stopped looking for relief, stopped asking what it means. Peace ain't laughing, peace ain't new, it's learning how to stand still too. These dark blues know my pace, every scar, every mistake. They don't rush me through the pain, they just help me stay the same. I don't win, I don't lose, I just breathe in. Dark blues. Midnight talks with passing cars, headlights fade like falling stars. Every road I didn't take still waits for me awake. I learned strength ain't fists of fire, it's walking calm when you're tired. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I adapt to dark blues. Love's a gamble I stayed in, played it cool, still lost again. But regret don't own my name, I just carry what remains. I ain't holy, I ain't damned, just a man who understands that some truths you don't refuse, you just live them. Dark blues. Dark These dark blues don't drag me down, they keep my feet on solid ground. When the night cuts cold and loose, they're the only proof that I don't fold, I don't excuse, I just move with dark blues. Morning breaks, same shoes, same road. Dark blues. Rain writes lines on a shuttered bar. Night knows exactly who we are. I walk slow past borrowed light. Every step feels earned tonight. I don't chase what slipped my hand. I learned loss makes a man. Every truth I couldn't use settled in these dark blues. I've seen love dressed up in flame, burn itself, forget my name. Some endings don't explode, They don't lie, they don't confuse, they just groove. I don't beg, I don't lose, I stay grounded in dark blues. Jukebox size, a tired tune, same old song, different room. Your memory ain't sharp or sweet, it's just rhythm in my feet. I don't curse what couldn't stay, I let distance have its way. Some men shout, some men bruise, I chose quiet, I chose use. Silence showed me how to see what noise hides easily. You don't need to raise your hand to stand. These dark blues hold my line, never rush, never whine. They don't heal, they don't accuse, they just prove. I don't bend, I don't lose, I move clean in dark blues. Keep on his time, every second draws a line. I don't fight what's nearly done, I let the long night run. Strength ain't fist or borrowed pride, it's walking calm on your own side. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I learn balance from dark blues. If hope knocks, I don't hide, I just let it pass inside. Some doors open once or twice and turn quiet. I ain't empty, I ain't through, just reduced. When the night asks me to choose, I don't refuse. I don't win, I don't lose, I just live in dark blues. Oh, rain, let's go, no cues, same street, dark blues. I still lower my voice at night, like you're asleep nearby. Old habits don't need reasons, they just refuse to die. Your side of the room feels colder, even in summertime. Funny how absence can feel heavier than goodbye. I thought I'd learn to forget, but I just learned to live with it. These dark blues don't chase the pain, they let it stay. They don't tell me to be strong, they let me be. I don't run, I don't choose, I just stay with dark blues. I hear your name in crowded rooms, and my heart still turns. Not because I want you back, but because some things burn. I don't hate the life I had, I just miss who I was. When loving you felt simple, before fear made it hard. Some love doesn't break or end, it just changes shape. These dark blues know my truth. Everything I couldn't do, they don't leave when I'm confused. They just stay dark blues. I don't beg, I don't move, I just breathe in dark blues. Sometimes I wonder if you know how much you changed me. Not with words or promises, but quietly. I carry you in how I listen, in how I pause, in how I hold back saying things I would have said before. If loving you was my mistake, I'd still make it again. Not for how it ended, but for who I was back then. I don't need forgiveness now, I just need to say you mattered in a way that never goes away. These dark blues don't let me heal, but they keep me real. They don't fix what I lose, they just see me through. I don't win, I don't lose, I just loved you, dark blues. If you ever feel this too, you weren't alone. I was there. a slow death. Whiskey sour on a sticky bar, wondering where you are so far. Empty glass, empty stare, just a ghost hanging in the air. Where'd you go? Where'd you run? Underneath this broken sun. Broken strings on my own guitar, broken dreams both near and far. Heartbeat drumming a ragged beat. Can't find solace, can't find sweet. Love's a lie, love's a cheat. Stuck here on this lonely street. Rain on the window, a steady drip. Every memory a bitter sip. Your laughter echoes in my head. Words unsaid, words unsaid. Shadows dancing on the wall. Hear your name and I start to fall. This town ain't big enough for two, not when one of them is you. Broken strings on my old guitar, broken dreams both near and far. Heartbeat drumming a ragged beat. Can't find solace, can't find sweet. Love's a lie, love's a cheat. Stuck here on this lonely street. They say time heals all the wounds, but these scars just bloom deeper, darker every day. Gonna waste away, gonna fade away. Is there a reason? Is there a sign? This pain ain't yours, it's only mine. A twisted knot, a tangled thread. Wish I was numb, wish I was dead. Walking down these empty lanes, feel the chill, feel the pains. Every corner, every turn, another lesson I gotta learn. About goodbye, about the end. No one to call, no one to mend. The shattered soul, this weary heart, torn to pieces right from the start. I learned how to smile just enough so no one asks me why. Some truths don't wanna be spoken, they just sit behind your eyes. I keep your name off my tongue, but not out of my head. It's easier to stay quiet than explain what we had. I wasn't cold, I was afraid of loving you the wrong way. These dark blues don't ask for peace, they ask for honesty. They don't rush me to move on, they let me be. I don't fight, I don't choose, I when you didn't feel seen. That's the moment I lost you and didn't know what it meant. I tried to be what you needed, but needed you too much. Some love collapses quietly under the weight of touch. I thought silence would protect us. Now it's all that's left. These dark blues know my shape, every fault, every weight. They don't leave when I'm confused. They just sit. Dark blues. I don't beg, I don't move, I just breathe in. Dark blues. They say time will make it light, but it just makes it clear that losing you wasn't the end, just the longest year. I don't want you back anymore, I just want you okay. Some goodbyes aren't endings, they're love that stays. If I could say one honest thing without reopening scars, it'd be this: you were home even when we fell apart. I don't blame you, I don't run, I just carry what we were. Just loved you, dark, dark blues. Some love doesn't fade or die, it just learns to stay quiet. It's told. Empty bottle on the nightstand shelf. Your side of the bed made itself. My books by the door, getting woke last night. Phone full of your words, faded in the light. I keep scrolling like it's gonna change. Same sad sentence, different page. Whiskey on my weathered heart, burns going down. Tears fall sharp, love keeps leaving, bite marks in same old song, same cold apartments. Whiskey on my weathered heart. Barstool preacher says I'll be fine. Names his regrets one at a time. Says, son, that woman ain't your first scar. I say, she's the one that drove my car. Jukebox humming, some lost regret. Couple in the corner, ain't broken yet. A hand on his sleeve, like you did to me. My throat goes tight, I can barely breathe. I ain't asking for a second chance, I just miss your shadow in my glass. Whiskey on my weathered heart, birds going down. Tears fall sharp, love keeps leaving, black marks in the dark. Yeah, it hits me, splits me apart. I keep calling, you keep walking, same old song, same cold and popping. Whiskey on my weathered heart. I've been faithful to my bad decisions. Every lonely mile, every crooked vision. Tried loving you like a last-ditch prayer. Turned out loud, just watch me swear. I wanted Sunday soft and quiet. We got Friday nights full of riot. You wanted flowers in the windowsill. I gave you promises and unpaid bills. Now it's late night radio and a busted fan, talking to the ceiling like you'd understand. Just sweatshirt hanging on the kitchen chair. Smells like heaven that isn't there. I trace your name in the spilled out drink. Watch it fade faster than I think. If you ever wonder what you meant to me, this cracked gold glass is your eulogy. Whiskey on my weathered heart, birds going down. Tears fall short, love keeps leaving, bite marks in the dirt. Yeah, it hits me, splits me apart. I keep pouring, you keep walking, same old song, same cold apartments. Whiskey on my weathered heart. So here's to the nights we almost got it right, to the crooked road that stole our light. If loving you's a bar tab, I can't pay in part. I'll sign it over with my weathered heart. I'll sign it over with my weathered heart. So here's to the night we almost got it right, to the crooked road that stole our light. If loving you's a mortal, I can't pay in part. I'll sign it over with my weathered heart. I'll sign it over with my weathered heart. I learned how to smile just enough so no one asks me why. Some truths don't wanna be spoken, they just sit behind your eyes. I keep your name off my tongue, but not out of my head. It's easier to stay quiet than explain what we had. I wasn't cold, I was afraid of loving you the wrong way. These dark blues don't ask for peace, they still remember how you looked when you didn't feel seen. That's the moment I lost you and didn't know what it meant. I tried to be what you needed, but needed you too much. Some love collapses quietly under the weight of touch. I thought silence would protect us. Now it's all that's left. These dark blues know my shape, every fault, every weight. They don't leave when I'm confused, they just sit. Dark blues. I don't beg, I don't move, I just breathe. Dark blues. They say time will make it light, but it just makes it clear that losing you wasn't the end, just the longest year. I don't want you back anymore, I just want you okay. Some goodbyes on endings, they're love that stays. If I could say one honest thing without reopening scars, it'd be this: you were home even when we fell apart. I don't blame you, I don't run, I just carry what we were. Loved you, dark blue. Some love doesn't fade or die, it just learns to stay quiet.
Coffee's gone cold on the counter, ashtrays full of old fights. Your perfume still on that flannel shirt hanging where you left last night. You said you're tired of the same old story, me and that bottle in the same old chair. You slammed the door, took your glory, left that echo buzzing in the air. Like it's laughing at this fool. I've been trading all our Sundays for smoky bars and cheap bar stools. Every promise that I ever poured you spit out somewhere on the floor. Now it's me in this glass at midnight, talking to your shadow by the door. Got whiskey on my wedding ring, lipstick on my guilty grin. fix it. You can't sleep here on this floor. So I stumbled through that screen door, sunrise, stained hands, heavy eyes. Every hangover holds a promise that I'll break by Friday night. You're out there finding fresh air, I'm in here breathing smoke. You found peace inside a sunrise, I found comfort in the choke. But I remember how your laughter used to dance across my skin. Now it's just the ice in this glass, tapping time for what might have been. Got whiskey on my wedding ring, lipstick on my guilty grin. I keep losing every good thing to the same old sin. Love's a cage and love's a key. You set it down and walk from me. Now every road leads back to you. And these whiskey blues, yeah. I could pour this poison out, take that walk to your front door. Say I'm done with chasing shadows, done sleeping on this barroom floor. Would you slam it in my face or pull me in, say start again? Is there a prayer in this disaster, or just a wish at the bitter end? Oh, I traced that pale tan line where a ring used to ride. You took yours off in anger, I still twist mine when I lie. Maybe love is just a lesson written crooked across our days. Maybe I'm a slow learner, still reading it the hardest way. Got whiskey on my wedding ring, lipstick on my guilty grin. I keep losing every good thing to the same old sin. Love's a storm and love's a bruise. I wear your name inside my shoes. Every step I feel that truth. And these whiskey blues, oh. So here's to all our almost, all the fights and all the fun, to the way you said you'd save me from myself and from that sun. If you ever feel that midnight creeping lonely through your bones, you know where this fool is sitting. Same bar stool, same old ghost. Got whiskey on my wedding ring, and your memory in my veins. If loving you's a losing,
cold wind talking through the cracks of an old soul I can't patch. Said it hums like it knows my sins every night, pulls me back in. A lot of smoke, watch it fade, just like every vow I made. Ain't no angels in this town, just tired men going down. Every face feels unfamiliar, even when they know my name. I keep walking past reflections, but they all look the same. These dark blues ride shotgun with me, every mile, every truth. I tried running from the silence, but it's louder when I move. Love don't stay, it just passes through, leaves a scar, takes a piece of you. I don't pay, I just lose. Yeah, I'm living on dark but the truth keeps knocking, and it don't leave me alone. These dark blues ride shotgun with me every mile, every truth. I try burying the silence, but it always digs back through. Love's a game I always lose. Dealer smile, stacks of rules. I don't cry, just bruise. Yeah, I'm living on dark blue. Neon rain on broken signs. Every dream passes time. I hear sirens singing low, like they know where I'll go. There's a weight I can't outrun. Every battle's already won. By the past, by what I chose, by the things I never said. If redemption's on the way, it took a wrong turn yesterday. I ain't looking to be saved, just need something real to stay. They say pain makes a man. Guess that's why I understand why I stand here half confused, with a soul full of dark blue. These dark blues don't ask questions, they just sit and wait, like an old friend with bad intentions, smiling at my fate. Love walked out in worn out shoes, left me nothing I could use. I don't win, I just choose to survive on blue blues. Morning comes, but I don't move. Still breathing. These dark blues. I carry your number in my phone, even when I stop calling, like proof of a life I had before I learned about falling. Pass your street without looking now, still feel it in my chest. Funny how the heart remembers what the mind does best to forget. I was there, but not enough to, scared of love to show my love. These dark blues don't blame me, they just sit beside
it's not really for me. I don't hate the man you left, I just wish he understood that loving you was simple, but I made it hard when I shouldn't. Some regrets don't scream or cry, they just breathe when you lie. These dark blues know my truth, everything I couldn't do. They don't leave when I'm confused, they just stay. Dark blues, I don't beg, I just carry. Dark blues. Sometimes I almost text your name just to see if it still feels wrong. Then I remember silence is how I keep you strong. If letting go means hurting you, then I'll hold this pain instead. Some love stories don't end loud, they live quietly in your head. If I could speak without fear, I'd say I loved you clear. Not perfect, not right, just real every night. I wasn't ready then, and that's the truth I live in. Dark blues, dark blues. If you ever feel this too, it was real. It was you. Lipstick on a napkin, phone number and a dare. I was small town Saturday, loud laugh, long hair. We burned through that little bar till the bartender killed the light. You said love's just borrowed trouble, I said pour me one more night. We moved in by the train tracks, second floor paper thin walls, shared a mattress and called you wild. We were older than our ages, still inside we were a child. That night you missed my showtime, I missed the train back home. Two people in the same old city, feeling twice as alone. I found you on the rooftop, bare feet on the concrete cold. You said, I'm scared I'll wake up 40 and this story's never told. I said, baby, we are writing it, every bruise and every bruise. You laughed and cried in the same breath, said, I pick you, I choose this truth. Love is a whiskey on your shoulder, warms you up, then pulls you under. Burns like summer, hits like thunder. You hold tight, but it runs right through. We keep dancing on this border between forever and disorder. Raise that glass and toast the wonder of getting lost, getting found in you. We ain't saints, we ain't sinners, we're the space between the two. Oh yeah! We're that last sip in the bottle that you swear is just for you. We're the fight over the dishes, then the kiss against the sink. We're the leave me the hell alone, and the baby, don't you dare blame. Oh yeah! You say, this love is killing me. I say, it keeps me alive. You say, we're just bad habit. I say, we're reason to survive. You say, maybe we should slow down. I say, maybe that's the key. Then you pour one more confession, slide that glass right back to me. Yeah. Love is a whiskey on your shoulder, warms you up, then pulls you under. Burns like summer, hits like thunder. You hold tight, but it runs right through. We keep dancing on this border between forever and disorder. Raise that glass and toast the wonder of getting lost, getting found in you. So here's to all our wrong turns, all our late night taxi prayers, to the days we almost lost it, but still chose to stay right there. If love's a whiskey on my shoulder, I'll wear that burn like something true. Let it sting, let it steady every time I lean on you. Oh yeah. Yeah. Night pours down like cheap regret on a city that won't forget. I walk slow, hands in my jeans. Learn too much from what I've seen. Streetlights buzz like bad advice. Same mistakes, different price. I don't ask for second views, I already know the truth. I've watched love turn it away, watch patience come too late. Some lessons don't arrive, they wait. These dark blues don't save my soul, they just help me stay in control. They don't shine, they don't bruise, they just live where I do. I don't beg, I don't choose, I just wear these dark blues. Barroom floors know how I stand. half a man, half a plan. Your memory ain't sharp or loud, it's just there like a cloud. I don't hate what didn't stay, I just learned to let it wait. Some hearts bend, some refuse. Mine grew quiet, dark and used. Silence taught me how to move without asking for proof. You don't need to say goodbye to know these darker blues will walk my line. Never rush, never lie. They don't heal, they don't accuse, they just show us true. I don't win, I don't lose, I just stand in dark blue. Midnight clocks don't judge my pace, they just tick, they don't wait. I made peace with what I lack. I don't look forward, I don't look back. Strength ain't fist or pride, it's keeping calm when you're tired. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I learn restraint from dark blues. If hope knocks, I let it pass. Some doors close too fast. I ain't holy, I ain't damn, just a man who understands that some roads you never choose, they choose you. Don't fade away, they age like truth, they stay. When the night pulls tight and cruel, they keep me cool. I don't pray, I don't move, I just breathe in dark blue. Morning comes, same shoe, same and dark blue. Streetlight flickers, a dying breath. Another night, another slow death. Whiskey sour on a sticky bar, wondering where you are, so far. Empty glass, empty stare, just a ghost hanging in the air. Where'd you go, where'd you run, underneath this broken sun? Broken strings on my old guitar, broken dreams both near and far. Heartbeat drumming a ragged beat, can't find solace, can't find sweet. Love's a lie, love's a cheat, stuck here on this lonely street. memory, a bitter sip. Your laughter echoes in my head. Words unsaid, words unsaid. Shadows dancing on the wall. Hear your name and I start to fall. This town ain't big enough for two, not when one of them is you. Broken strings on my old guitar, broken dreams both near and far. Heartbeat drumming a ragged beat. Can't find solace, can't find sweet. Love's a lie, love's a cheat. Stuck here on this lonely street. Oh, they say time heals all the wounds, but these scars just bloom deeper, darker every day. Gonna waste away, gonna fade away. Is there a reason? Is there a sign? This pain ain't yours, it's only mine. A twisted knot, a tangled thread. Wish I was numb, wish I was dead. Walking down these empty lanes, feel the chill, feel the pain. Every corner, every turn, another lesson I gotta learn. About goodbye, about the end. No one to call, no one to mend. The shattered soul, this weary heart, torn to pieces right from the start. Night pours down like cheap regret on a city that won't forget. I walk slow, hands in my jeans. Learn too much from what I've seen. Streetlights buzz like bad advice. Same mistakes, different price. I don't ask for second views. I already know the truth. I've watched love turn in a way. Watch patience come too late. Some lessons don't arrive, they wait. These dark blues don't save my soul. They just help me stay in control. They don't shine, they don't bruise. They just live where I do. I don't beg, I don't choose. I just wear these dark blues. Barroom floors know how I stand. Half a man, half a plan. Your memory ain't sharp or loud. It's just there like like a cloud. I don't hate what didn't stay, I just learned to let it wait. Some hearts bend, some refuse. Mine grew quiet, dark and used. Silence taught me how to move without asking for proof. You don't need to say goodbye to know these dark blues walk my line. Never rush, never lie. They don't heal, they don't accuse, they just show what's true. I don't win, I don't lose, I just stand in dark blue. Midnight clocks don't judge my pace, they just tick, they don't wait. I've made peace with what I lack. I don't look forward, I don't look back. Strength ain't fist or pride, it's keeping calm when you're tired. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I learn restraint from dark blues. If hope knocks, I let it pass. Some doors close too fast. I ain't holy, I ain't damn, just a man who understands. There's some roads you never choose, they choose you. They stay when the night pulls tight and cruel. They keep me cool, I don't pray, I don't move, I just breathe in dark blue. Morning come, same shoe. Same man, dark blue.
Streetlight flickers, dying breath. Another night, another slow death. Whiskey sour on a sticky bar, wondering where you are so far. Empty glass, empty stare, just a ghost in the air. Where'd you go? Where'd you run? Underneath this broken sun, yeah. Broken strings on my old guitar, broken dreams near and far. Heartbeat drumming a ragged beat, can't find solace, can't find sweet. Love's a lie, love's a cheat.
chill, feel the pain, every corner, every turn. Another lesson I gotta learn. About goodbye, about the end. No one to call, no one to mend. The shattered soul, this weary heart, torn to pieces right from the start.
The night leans heavy on my back, like it knows I won't crack. Street lights blinking tire cold, same old truth, same old road. I don't rush what time delays, I've learned patience pays its way. Every scar I didn't show still knows I've seen promises wear thin, break from trying to win. Some fights die when you refuse to move. My mind, they just keep me in line. They don't beg, they don't use, they just groove. I don't bend, I don't lose. I keep time in dark blues. Ballroom jukebox plays it slow, songs about things I used to know. Your name slips through the tune, gone before it lands too soon. I don't chase what fades away, I let distance have its say. Some men shout, some men bruise. I grew quiet, I grew used. Silence taught me how to lead, without hunger, without need. You don't have to steal the room to move. These dark blues keep my pace, never rush, never waste. They don't heal, they don't accuse, they just stay true. I don't rise, I don't lose, I walk slow in dark blue. Steady lines, like it's reading my spine. I don't flinch, I don't stall, I've outlived the fall. Strength ain't loud or fast, it's knowing what will last. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I learn calm from dark blues. If love's a fire, let it burn. Watch the ash learn to turn. Some warmth costs too much skin to stay in. I ain't empty, I ain't cold, just season control. Shine. They just match my time. When the night asks me to choose, I don't refuse. I don't win, I don't lose, I just move.
my way. I don't rush, I don't wait. City breathe through broken signs, like it's thinking the same as mine. I don't chase what makes a sound, I watch it sink, I watch it drown. Every truth I didn't use still hums in dark blues. I've seen fate dressed up as fire, burn the hands that held it higher. Some beliefs don't fall apart, they thin. Ah, these dark blues don't tell me lies, they just keep my eyes wide. They don't beg, they don't use, they just cruise. I don't bend, I don't lose, I keep still in dark blues. Barroom neon flickers low, like it's tired of the show. Your name drifts, then settles down. Not a scream, just a sound. I don't rewind what went cold, I let memory do what it's told. Some men burn, some men bruise, I learned how to refuse. Silence taught me how to hear what's real when nothing's near. You don't need a second chance to understand. These dark blues hold my flame, never soft, never vain. They don't heal, they don't accuse, they just move. I don't rise, I don't lose, I stay calm in dark blue. Midnight feels like honest work, no disguise, no alert. I don't fight what wants to leave, I let go without belief. Strength ain't loud or fast, it's knowing what won't last. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I learn balance from dark blues. If love's a road, I missed the turn, didn't crash, just didn't learn. Some pass in without a sign, they fade in time. I ain't empty, I ain't through, just quiet tune. These dark blues don't change my skin, they just live within. When the night asks me to choose, I don't refuse, I don't win, I don't lose, I remain in dark blues. I remain in dark blues. Morning hums, no cues, same breath. Another night I've lived before. Same old bar, same old tune. Moon hangs low like it's tired too. I don't rush, I don't pray, I just let the hours decay. Every face I pass by looks like me if I lie. I learn quick not to explain. Some truths don't need a name. If you carry them long enough, they start carrying you. These dark blues keep me steady when the world spins fast. They don't promise me forever, just a way to last. Love tried once, love refused, left me locked in dark blues. Hey! Ashtray full of almost chances, missed calls and second glances. Your voice ain't loud anymore, it's a knock on a closed door. I don't chase what disappeared, I don't toast to wasted years. Some men heal, some men choose to make peace with what they lose. Silence taught me how to see what noise never showed me. You don't need a loaded heart to know what's empty. These dark blues know my weight, every step, every mistake. They don't ask me to confess, they just sit with the mess. No excuse, no excuse, no excuse. I just breathe in dark blues. Midnight train screams down the line like it's running out of time. I watch it pass, don't move a bone. Some roads ain't meant to be known. I keep my hands inside my coat, guard my words, guard my throat. I've said enough, I've paid my dues. Now I speak in dark blues. If love's a lesson I passed too late, read it wrong, learned it straight. Pain don't shout, it stays polite, waits for you in quiet nights. I ain't broken, I ain't clean, just somewhere in between. I don't bend, I don't bruise, I adapt to dark blues. drips falling like it knows every secret I don't show. City breeze and shades of gray teaches men to look away. I keep my hands deep in my coat, words stay locked inside my throat. Every step I take alone feels like home I've never known. I've learned silence ain't a curse, it's armor when the truth gets worse. Some men talk to feel alive, some survive by staying quiet. These dark blues don't make a sound, they just follow me around. They don't beg, they don't choose, they just stay when others move. I don't break, I don't bruise, I just walk with dark blue. Streetlight hums above my head like it heard the things you said. Every promise wears thin when you replay it again and again. Your shadow's gone, but it remains in empty seats and midnight trains. I don't chase what I can't keep, some losses cut too deep. I stopped looking for relief, stopped asking what it means. Peace ain't laughing, peace ain't new, it's learning how to stand still too. These dark blues know my pace, every scar, every mistake. They don't rush me through the pain, they just help me stay the same. I don't win, I don't lose, I just breathe in. Dark blues. Midnight talks with passing cars, headlights fade like falling stars. Every road I didn't take still waits for me awake. I learned strength ain't fists of fire, it's walking calm when you're tired. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I adapt to dark blues. Love's a gamble I stayed in, played it cool, still lost again. But regret don't own my name, I just carry what remains. I ain't holy, I ain't damned, just a man who understands that some truths you don't refuse, you just live them. Dark blues. Dark These dark blues don't drag me down, they keep my feet on solid ground. When the night cuts cold and loose, they're the only proof that I don't fold, I don't excuse, I just move with dark blues. Morning breaks, same shoes, same road. Dark blues. Rain writes lines on a shuttered bar. Night knows exactly who we are. I walk slow past borrowed light. Every step feels earned tonight. I don't chase what slipped my hand. I learned loss makes a man. Every truth I couldn't use settled in these dark blues. I've seen love dressed up in flame, burn itself, forget my name. just teach me still. They don't lie, they don't confuse, they just groove. I don't beg, I don't lose, I stay grounded in dark blues. Jukebox size, a tired tune, same old song, different room. Your memory ain't sharp or sweet, it's just rhythm in my feet. I don't curse what couldn't stay, I let distance have its way. Some men shout, some men bruise, I chose quiet, I chose you. Silence showed me how to see what noise hides easily. You don't need to raise your hand to stand. These dark blues hold my line, never rush, never whine. They don't heal, they don't accuse, they just prove. Keep on his time, every second draws a line. I don't fight what's nearly done, I let the long night run. Strength ain't fist or borrowed pride, it's walking calm on your own side. I don't scream, I don't bruise, I learn balance from dark blues. If hope knocks, I don't hide, I just let it pass inside. Some doors open once or twice and turn quiet. I ain't empty, I ain't through, just reduced. When the night asks me to choose, I don't refuse. I don't win, I don't lose, I just live in dark blues. Oh, rain, let's go, no cues, same street, dark blues. I still lower my voice at night, like you're asleep nearby. Old habits don't need reasons, they just refuse to die. Your side of the room feels colder, even in summertime. Funny how absence can feel heavier than goodbye. I thought I'd learn to forget, but I just learned to live with it. These dark blues don't chase the pain, they let it stay. They don't tell me to be strong, they let me be. I don't run, I who changed me. Not with words or promises, but quietly. I carry you in how I listen, in how I pause, in how I hold back saying things I would have said before. If loving you was my mistake, I'd still make it again. Not for how it ended, but for who I was back then. I don't need forgiveness now. I just need to say you mattered in a way that never goes away. If you ever feel this too, you weren't alone. I was there. Streetlight flickers, a dying breath. Another night, another slow death. Whiskey sour on a sticky bar, wondering where you are so far. Empty glass, empty stare, just a ghost hanging in the air. Where'd you go? Where'd you run? Underneath this broken sun. Broken strings on my old guitar, broken dreams both near and far. Heartbeat drumming a ragged beat. Can't find solace, can't find sweet. Love's a lie, love's a cheat. Stuck here on this love.
sign. This pain ain't yours, it's only mine. A twisted knot, a tangled thread. Wish I was numb, wish I